Hello, 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 my world traveling friends. This is Judgmentalist coming at you from the mean streets of Maryland as we embark on our worldwide journey here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about the past couple weeks of our lives and then start getting into some of those interviews that we teased oh so long ago. That's right, we've got Big Sexy here all the way from Spain. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening whenever this is hitting your ear holes. Thank y'all for joining us here at Big Sexy Digital Nomad. What's going on, Judge? How you doing?
Just living the dream, man. Good to be getting into a little bit of a still somewhat random and drop in, hey, you ready to do one, but still a rhythm nonetheless, with you. So that's good. It gives me, not that I had any doubts, but it's always good to have that added confidence of, yep, we're just going to make this happen. It doesn't matter what the time is and what the distance is and everything like that, which is great.
I won't
So
lie, I was mildly worried about, after cruising and being in Europe and the time difference, and all the things, worried about how we were going to make this work. And I'm glad to see that it is still working and going forward, and we're able to record and get the stuff out there so our listeners can have something to share with their friends and family and say, hey, check out this podcast of these two guys just talking about travel in the world. And one of them is over there in Europe and one's in Maryland. He does magic, and the other guy does, improv and song stuff and does the things. So yeah.
yeah, and at
Happy.
least for right now, most of my travel remains U.S. domestic. Obviously the cruising stuff, but as far as everything that I'm doing work wise, performance wise, I'm staying within the confines right now of the lower 48. I don't anticipate that changing drastically for the rest of 23 or 24. I think, did I mention that RJ and I might be doing a little jaunt in September on here?
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
may have mentioned in last episode that was
Yeah,
something was coming
yeah,
down the
I,
wire.
I think I did, and I qualified it by saying I don't know that I should be talking about this, but he went on Instagram Live and mentioned it, so to me that means fair game. So
Fair game. That's right. Fair
some of
dinkum.
those fair dinkum. Some of those dates are starting to solidify. Nothing's really going to be announced until it gets, I would say at least 90% official. Just kind of like the run that I did with Matt. We didn't really drop dates until we had most of them. I think two dates filled in after the original run was announced. One of them probably by the time this airs, but not by the time that we're recording this. I still don't have a ticket sale link. That's the one through the casino, but that's not abnormal when you're dealing with bigger companies. There's layers and layers to deal with there. But yeah. So, I mean, it's exciting to get out there, even though I'm not getting out beyond the lower 48. At least that's just for now,
Right, right, right.
by the time I'll probably be setting sights on something bigger and more expansive come 2025, but who knows? I mean, the opportunities that being out and on the road present to you are sometimes unanticipated. Like I think I mentioned when Matt and I did the show in February in Elkton, we were approached by two different people wanting to book him, and those became two of the pieces of the July run. So,
Love that.
as
That's
RJ
amazing.
and I roll out to whatever that week may hold, some of those shows may be, hey, we want to bring you back for this, for that, or the other. I mean, hell, I got booked preliminarily, and I'm in talks for some conference that's going to be in November in Ocean City, Maryland, based on one of the performers in Elkton Magic's March show. All I was doing that day was emceeing. I wasn't even doing any
Nice.
magic or mind reading because we had the dual headliner show. So a lot of times an MC will do quick visual pieces between acts. I wasn't even doing that. I wanted all of the mystery to be to the booked performers. but somebody from there was like, "Hey, we've got this big convention. It's going to be in November. I want to get you and you on
Cool.
stage down there. We'll pay you. We'll put you up. We'll feed you. We'll keep
Love
you drunk
it.
as much as you want. All the things that you want to hear." I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Okay, bring it on."
I love
Um,
that this podcast gets to report on the blossoming and growing career of Judgmentalist and how he came from humble beginnings as a local lawyer in the Maryland area and blew up to fame and stardom in the magic scene with his own headlining show at some casino in Las Vegas.
you're getting way ahead of yourself.
I know I am, but that's all right. Actually, what I may have to do is put you in my musical. I think my musical needs
Okay.
to have a big act, and it's going to be Judgmentalist. We have to come up with a cool name for your show at the Chuck Water Tower Casino.
I am going to officially and on the record here on whatever day this podcast airs, deliver to you exclusive rights for any musical that my likeness will appear in to be yours.
Oh well, thank you very much. Got it. We got that
So there will be
recorded.
no, at least until you release me of that. The
Excellent.
first musical that Judgmentalist will be depicted in, or star in, or be part of will be yours.
Awesome.
And
Yep. Now I got to figure out how to work that into the storyline, but I'll figure it out. As a reservationist, when I worked in Vegas as a reservation agent, we often sold tickets to the shows at our hotel and casino. So it should be easy to work in a reservation agent having to sell tickets. It might be in mention only. It might not have to necessarily be a likeness, but we can have a scene where the agents are talking about this. They finally saw the show, the new show at the hotel that we now get to sell and get to earn money for, and I'll make it your magic show. So we'll have to brainstorm some cool names for a show, and then hopefully, as sometimes happens, life starts to depict art, and then we bring that into existence, both and from the musical, and then because the musical takes off and is such a hit, then they go, well, oh wait, that the magician he talks about is real. There's a real. Oh, we definitely got to get him on. So how cool would that be? How cool would it be if Reservate This, a call center musical, gets a Broadway or an off Broadway run, and then for the intermission, Judgmentalist actually does a show?
That'd be great.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, as the intermission, we're going to take you inside.
And keep it real meta. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be
Look,
really
I'm
cool.
down. I've already signed away the rights to you, so it's yours for the taking. Full disclosure, insertion into musicals was not an avenue Judgmentalist had been pursuing previously, so we've checked that off of the list, and we're good to go there.
Big things. And I trust it all because you're a lawyer, so I'm sure you know all the legalities of it. So
it's on the record. Everybody heard it.
That's right. That's right.
And by the time it comes to fruition, that number should be much larger than it is now. It's a good and growing number. So thank you all for tuning in week in and week out.
Appreciate you all.
To our very shenanigans. So. We love you guys.
Speaking of shows at Vegas, I think the last time we talked about your hockey experience.
Yeah.
Going to the Vegas Knights game.
We talked about that. I think that we talked a little bit about, in general, what Lost Spirits is.
Right.
That was Friday. Saturday was when I did the Copperfield thing.
Now, when did you have your? Nope, never mind. See, I keep conflating our time in Vegas together and your solo time in Vegas together. When did you leave Vegas?
Which time?
The second time when you're there on your own.
So the second time, I left Vegas, I want to say was May 2nd.
So that
It was
was
Monday.
a Monday.
Yeah.
Cool. So what happened on that weekend? Did you do anything fun on that Saturday and Sunday? Saturday was the Copperfield.
So Saturday was Copperfield. Sunday, big shout out. I probably should have started at the end because this is a double big shout out to our good friend RJ Owens. RJ hooked me the fuck up because I was, chatting with him and I said, "Hey, I want to come see your show." And he's like, "Bring whoever," basically. I don't remember how this went exactly because it was a month ago. But I was like, "Well, do you want me to reach out and see who in the School of Mystery would like to attend?" And he's like, "Go for it." And he hooked us up. There were 10 of us who
Wow.
went and saw Mystere, and RJ worked his magic. Had great seats, obviously a great show. It's weird because after seeing a show like that has existed for 30 years and it evolves, they tweak things from time to time with it. And then there are certain acts that, leave and get replaced and things like that. But for the most part, there's a stability to that show and the format of it. But I have seen that show 3 times, I think, in the past year-ish.
Wow.
And the first time I saw it, it was only RJ, the big baby.
Right.
The second time I saw it, he had COVID. So it was who I thought was his understudy, a smaller baby. But then when the third time I saw it, that both babies were there. And I was like, and this when you come into the theater as the pre-show is happening or is about to happen, there is one of those old school type baby carriages on the stage. And you can kind of hear the baby like cooing and crying a little bit here and there. So the first 2 times I saw it, there was only one baby carriage on stage. And then when I go in there this third time, there were 2. And I'm like, I sent him a text because I knew that like he was getting ready, but he doesn't have Jimmy's job. Jimmy is in the pre-show running around. Don't miss the pre-show. If it says that the doors open at 6 or if it says that the doors open at 9, that's what you want to be walking through because that's when the show really starts to unfold there in the pre-show. And if you enjoy this podcast and the shenanigans that we live, then you'll definitely enjoy this pre-show. So I shoot RJ a text. I'm like, 2 baby carriages? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's new. And he's like, only for the past 30 years, which is the entire run of the show. I'm like, well, damn, because I've seen this show 3 times in a year. And, it's been one baby the first 2 times.
I've only seen one baby. So they do 2 babies. Like, were both babies are the part of the show at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
have slightly different roles. Like, only the big baby. Well, obviously, the show that I saw when RJ was out and it was only the small baby. Like, the big baby is the one that if they're both in there, is throwing the ball around and interacting with Papa and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And what's the small baby doing?
The small baby, at least, and again, my sample set is apparently too small to tell you definitively, because again, I've seen 3 different kind of iterations of this so far. And I know that when I go in June, the likelihood of me having time to see it again is like 0, because that, I think I mentioned, I got the schedule for that. I am
not breathing.
I will be coming to Vegas for like 5 days in June, and I won't be reaching out to anybody. I won't be hanging out with anybody. I won't be anything unless somehow there's some sort of magical kismet that puts one of the NHL final days on like the only night that I'm there, which will be the first day that I fly in. If there's an NHL finals game, this is assuming, knock on wood, we'll already know by the time this episode airs, if the night's even advance.
Fingers crossed.
At the time that they're recording this, they're up 2-0. So,
good. Good chance that's going to happen. So
they're in the driver's seat. There's nothing.
Like I like to say, fingers and toes, and if I could, my nose.
That's right. So we'll see what kind of prognosticating we do here. The finals are supposed to start either I think the third. So if the Knights have home ice advantage in the finals, and there's a formula for this. It all depends on which team from the East gets in. Mitzi sent me the formula. I've already forgotten it. But if the Knights are hosting the first two games of the finals, there is a possibility that one of them lands. The game two lands on the 5th. So
Gotcha.
maybe I go out and about and do that. And I would imagine with as easy as it was to fill that suite for round one, it certainly will be no problem to fill that suite for the NHL finals. And I don't care. As far as live attendance is concerned, I don't know that I enjoy any sport live more than I enjoy ice hockey.
Why is that?
There's, as far as watching it, there's constant action. It's always moving. Even when there's stoppage in play for like a penalty or whatever.
Right.
It's very brief and boom, they're back in the action. Baseball slow.
The slowest of the slow.
The slowest of the slow. Now they've done things, with some rule changes to speed baseball up. I have not been to a baseball game this year, not live, and I'm like quasi cord cutting.
I don't think I've been to a baseball game live in maybe 9 years, 10 years, 12 years. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's been a hot minute. I think the last live game I went to was definitely in Vegas. It was the 51, the 51 playing. I remember I got free tickets to the game, so we were just going to hang out. But man, I don't know when that. I don't remember when that was. I've been to baseball parks since then, but not to actually watch anybody play.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think I went to a game or two last year, maybe in Baltimore. I don't know. It's been.
Are you an Orioles fan?
Yeah, that was a team that I grew up with, and they're actually playing a lot better than they did in previous years. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's just it for
Did
as
Cal
close.
Ripken Jr. play on the Orioles?
Sure did. Yeah.
Am I thinking about? Is that right in my brain?
His entire career, he actually grew up in a town that's about midway between Baltimore and Elkton. So
gotcha.
he not only played there his entire career, his father, his brother played there.
Oh wow!
So that there's a lot of history there, and they're local.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I'm not as versed in baseball. I kind of know some stuff here and there, but not really. I grew up on the East Coast. I'm on the East Coast. I grew up on the West Coast. I grew up in California.
The other East, right?
Yeah, the other East. The East with the W in it. So I was a Dodgers fan. So I kind of knew some of that stuff just because. But I mean, I was a Dodger fan in the sense that I was from California, and if they ever made it to anywhere, they're the ones I rooted for, but I didn't know players really. I went to a few Dodger games here and there because that's what you do when you're a kid. And they want to take you out to stuff or whatever. But I wasn't like, I don't bleed blue. I don't care that much about baseball. Hot dogs were always good until they got too expensive, and then it just pissed me off.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think somebody the other day invited me to go to a Phillies game. And I know when the Phillies made the World Series, I tried to get tickets to that because that's, it's an event. It's a spectacle. Right. I went to, so I totally, if it lines up, I won't pass up the opportunity to go to the Stanley Cup Finals if I can if I can make that work in my schedule.
Makes sense. Kind of bummed that I won't be there to join you. Only because of the event and the spectacle of it. Like I don't really care about the sport as much as I like the spectacle of the event.
Yeah, I mean, playoffs anything is heightened. Even in the sports that aren't as exciting to watch live, it's still an incredibly exciting time.
I'm going to say the playoffs in golf is probably also somewhat exciting, but not as much.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, yeah. I have about just as much interest if it was the Masters as I would if it was just a bunch of old guys in hats hitting a ball around, which is what it always is.
Do they wear hats?
They have a little baller hat. Well, I might be thinking of like Legend of Bagger Vance. So I'm, my
Maybe.
image of golf is still the 1920s. So
something makes me think you and I watch about an equal amount of golf on television. So
only golf I like. I love miniature golf though, which just kills me. Like, I absolutely love miniature golf.
They certainly don't televise any of that.
But they really, really should.
I did notice coming out of the lockdown era. So I want to say that it was when I first time I went back to Vegas in 2020, which would have been late June, and then another trip for the July 4th weekend with some friends. The only live, at least it appeared to be live sporting event that was on TV or taking place out in the world at that point in time was cornhole.
Cornhole tournament?
Cornhole tournaments, yeah.
Yeah.
Like on ESPN. They were like on all the channels because that was insane. Like all that was, you're either playing pre-recorded shit or you're playing this cornhole stuff. So
right. Yeah, give me the pre-recorded shit. I don't want people toss bags in the hole.
Yeah,
I guess I guess if you're hungry for any kind of competition, then I guess anything.
Look, show me recordings of the World Series from the 70s and 80s when
right,
the hair was long, the 60s,
the time
when
when
mustaches were big and the colors were all weird. I love it.
Yeah, show us the basketball series when everybody was wearing really super super tiny shorts and running around and
all that stuff. Exactly.
All that kind of stuff. Take us way back when basketball was played by a bunch of white dudes so we can laugh at how it has evolved.
Exactly.
I tell you what, it's been interesting. We are here in Malaga, and we have hopefully, as we record this coming weekend, we will actually teach our Airbnb hosts how to play mahjong.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and if they're able to come through, it's a family of 4, an insanely hot family of 4. They're absolutely amazing. They've been wonderful. Really happy with them. They're super hosts, and I see why. Their place is really cool. Love playing here. So I'm really hoping that we get a chance to show them, teach them how to play some mahjong, hang out, and laugh.
How much longer are you staying in this specific Airbnb?
So we are here as of this recording. It is we'll be here a week, and so 9 more days.
Okay.
Unless we extend it, we're talking about possibly extending it if it's available. We'll make that decision come next week. Like I said, if possible, but we really like it. So if we can extend it, we'll probably extend it. But right now we're set to leave next Thursday. Gotcha.
Okay. So basically, if you're teaching them mahjong on the weekend, it's got to be this weekend.
It has to be this weekend, right? Yeah. Unless we extend our stay, then it can possibly be the following weekend. But we'll see. We're not sure what's going on.
Well, that's exciting.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
Because you're either going to be someplace that you're comfortable with for a little longer, or you're going to move on to someplace new, which is also cool.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're looking at hanging out in Malaga for a spell because we really, really like it here. It's really nice. It's low key. You know what I mean? While the city center is amazing, a lot of hubbub, it's also probably more expensive. To try to figure that out, to navigate those kind of things. So it's really, and we're learning. It's nice to get in the place, get settled, get situated, and then really learn the place, and then get to bounce around. You know what I mean? It's really like I liken it to living in Henderson and just being a quick bus ride, or in this case, a train ride away from downtown, from like the Strip.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's nice, but if Henderson had a beach, we probably would have never left Vegas. but it did
You
not.
mean a beach with water?
A beach, yes.
Plenty of beach, no ocean.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no ocean. It has to have ocean. Yeah, no lake beaches. That's not the thing. No. But it's really cool because even on the cruise ship, I don't know if I mentioned that on here. On the cruise ship, I'm sure I've had to have mentioned I taught a bunch of people how to play mahjong on the cruise ship.
Some of them taught other people.
Yes, they did. I'm really happy. As a matter of fact, today, for our listeners, we have a special treat. I'm actually going. We're teasing these interviews for a while. The interview that we're setting up for today is actually the girl that I taught how to play mahjong, and then taught others how to play mahjong. Actually, I think almost every interview, with the exception of maybe 2 so far, were people that I taught how to play mahjong. Because again,
nice.
mahjong was a very easy way to sit down, be social and whatever, and then invite them to come and be interviewed for the podcast. So it just made sense. Like,
while you're here, let me press this red button, and then you just yap.
Well, I wish I could have done that. I wish I could have just set up my laptop on my microphone while we're playing. That would have been very interesting, and maybe something I'll look at for the next time we hop on a cruise.
So brief intro here for you, and then we'll jump into it. Who we chatting with today?
Yeah, so 2 friends who are absolutely amazing. It's Madeline and Kira. Today's a double feature. It's mainly a double feature because they're my not my first, obviously not the first interviews that we've done, but this is the first time I've ever done an interview outside of the realm of the podcast. So they're shorter than normal. Still figuring out what the pacing was and all that kind of thing. So, but we're able to put them together, and it worked out perfect because they're best friends anyway. It's really cool. We chatted with them. 2
separate interviews here,
but the 2 separate interviews. I interviewed Madeline first, and then I interviewed her best friend Kira. And Kira's in a show on the Valiant Lady called Dual Reality. It's a circus show set to the theme of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, nice!
It's amazing. It's a pretty phenomenal show. If you happen to get on Scarlet Lady or Valiant Lady, I think the show might even be on Resilient Lady with Virgin Voyages. And if Dual Reality is on your ship, absolutely check out that show. It's an amazing show. It's phenomenal. All these people are crazy talented. There's
speaking of Virgin Voyages, I confirmed, we talked about this a couple episodes ago, that the Misbehaved Game Show is RJ's wife licensing it out. She was actually down in Orlando while RJ was in Maryland, and then the week after, training people and basically installing that show on some of their other ships.
Really? Oh man, I wish I had that information like prior. I would have definitely had more interesting conversations with the folks in that show.
Oh yeah.
But I'll reach out to them on social media. Like, oh my God, guess what I found out? This really connects. That's why I love the show so much. So yeah, if you want to take that back, let them know that show is a phenomenal hit. Everybody loved that show. Everybody said that their favorite show, one of their favorite shows, on the ship. And it's funny because when we were watching Misbehave, very much saying that we're looking, I'm going, oh, you know what? I could be in that show. I could definitely do that show. I definitely could. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for their auditioning for that show anytime, because I would love to be in that show. And then that puts me on a cruise ship. Yay!
Yeah, you got that right. All right, cool. Well, let's get into it. We got interviews here from Madeline and Kira.
Absolutely. Take care. Enjoy. Hello, world travelers. It's your host, Big Sexy, the digital nomad. Welcome back. Thank you very much for listening. This is another one of our interviews. As you know, I am currently on Virgin Voyages, the Valiant Lady, transatlantic cruise headed towards Spain. Right now, we're headed towards Lisbon. We're on our way. We're right now in the middle of the Atlantic, and I am interviewing fabulous and wonderful people that I have met along the way. As you know, I'm out there sociable, and I meet wonderful people, connect with amazing folks. Today, I have a treat for you. This performer is a part of the dual reality show here on the ship. Now, we haven't been able to see dual reality yet because they've either been in rehearsal, that they've had injuries, or it's been too the water's been too rough and the ship's too rocky. And dual reality is the kind of show where you don't want things to move from when you hop in the air off it. If it is in a different place when you land, you are landing on something that you had no business landing on, and then injuries, as I mentioned before. They have yet to showcase their fabulous talents. However, I did a deep dive into this entertainer's social media, and I have seen some of the talent that she possesses, and I can't wait to see it on display here on Virgin Voyages. So without further ado, put your hands together for Kira! Kira, hello. Welcome to Big Sexy Digital Nomad.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Now tell us about you, where you're from. You know the whole...
Yeah. I'm Kira. I'm 23, and I'm from New Hampshire.
Excellent. Now,
Yes.
I mentioned that you are a performer here on Virgin Voyages, and you're actually on one of the shows.
Yes.
How did that come about? How did you get cast in the show? Did the show exist before the ship and they brought it on the ship, or the show's always a part of the ship? How did that whole process work?
So the show Dual Reality was made for the cruise ships. I was reached out to over Instagram and asked to be a part of it. The cast is the Seven Fingers, and they're a circus company, and so then I went to Florida for the creation of the show, or to be put in it, and here I am.
Yeah,
for
awesome.
6 months.
Now, did you said they reached out via Instagram and social media? Had you been doing before we get there? What is your specialty? What do you do?
In the show, I do juggling. I also do contortion and hand balancing.
Wow. Okay. So you know when you see those sticks that have wooden blocks on top, just like 4 of those. Kira can hop on one of those and put her hand on one, and then her entire body is above her, or it's out to the side, or it's spinning around while the hand is staying still. Maybe not that last one, but so you get what I'm saying. She is really amazing in that. Now, how did you get into that, and then did Virgin see you perform elsewhere, and that's why they reached out? Like how'd that go?
So I got into Circus when I was 8 years old. My parents decided to put me in circus camp after I had done gymnastics for a year.
Okay. Wait, was gymnastics no longer an option? They're like, you know what? She needs to be in a circus.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was too scared to continue to get to a higher level.
Okay.
So my parents thought circus would be a good idea. And then I went to a school that actually offered circus classes in high school, and then I went to Circus College with Madeline, who was just on the podcast.
Yes, excellent. And please tell us the name of that circus school again, because I love it so much.
Circadium School of Contemporary Circus.
Circadium School of Contemporary Circus.
Yes.
That's the CSCC for those who are keeping track. Yes, and you've heard previously we interviewed Madeline, who also went to. Now, is that where you two met?
Yes, it is where we met, and
became
2018.
Best friends.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, excellent. And now, so were you? Did you have like Instagram footage of your circus abilities? Mm-hmm. And then, do you remember who reached out? Like, was it administration or was it another performer?
Yeah. So I had a video of my thesis, which is my graduation piece, on my Instagram, and I assume that's what they saw.
So unlike common collegiate thesis, mm-hmm. which is, a book worth of words written down, I'm assuming your thesis was this circus act.
Yes.
This difficult circus act that incorporated several different tricks to showcase that you have now learned how to do these things from a circus.
It's a more professional video of an act that I created with like fancy lighting and all that. So
amazing.
They can see that you can perform and stuff.
Right.
But I had someone reach out to me from the Seven Fingers Company, so it wasn't through Virgin.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So they choose their people for the show, and then Virgin hires you after that.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I've seen when we were on Scarlet Lady. Dual Reality was on Scarlet Lady, obviously, and then that's where I first heard. When I started following people's social media, I saw the Seven Fingers, so I started following Seven Fingers. You're right. There's a lot of amazing performers out there, and you are one of them. That is amazing. Now, I'm sure. Now, is this your first contract?
It is.
Now, this your first this your first cruise ship contract? Your first contract ever?
Both.
That's awesome. Now, have you traveled much before this journey across the Atlantic?
I've traveled a little bit. I was in a youth circus called Circus, and so we traveled around New England. Another good name.
Circus. That's why I love circus, folks. One, circus companies have some of the best names.
Yes.
I love it. Circus Market. So you traveled around New England, just New England, or like other states in the nearby region, or like New York, nothing, just
New England for that. I've been to New York for circus gigs and stuff, but I've traveled like to Germany and Vienna, Austria, but that was just for fun. So.
That which is fine. I didn't ask if you travel just for work. I meant like for fun. What this is really about. Again, this podcast is for fun. So if you travel, you've seen the world. That means you've seen other countries, other places, or whatever. This is like you're actually now taking your skill to other countries and other places. Because now you'll stay on the ship when it's in the Med, right?
Yes, I stay till June 18th.
So that's amazing. You're now going to be part of a ship that is... We're doing the crossing. So for those who don't know, the reason this is a transatlantic is because this ship is repositioning from the States over to the Mediterranean, around Spain and Portugal and other countries. I don't know because I'm not on it past
France,
Spain.
Italy.
Right. You probably know way better than me. But that means those are all countries and things you're going to see, for the first time because of your work.
Yeah.
Right. Now, so far, what has been one of the favorite places you have ever seen or been to?
Well, on this voyage, definitely San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
It was beautiful. Like, they had amazing shops, amazing gelato, and then, there was this beautiful, castle that you could look out and see the whole, landscape. So I loved that. It was, a great mix of nature and...
architecture and whatnot. Yeah. Now, me and the wife on our honeymoon cruise almost 6 years ago, we did an Italian cruise from Italy to Greece, and on our first port, actually even before that in Rome, we found this amazing gelato place, and so it really became the gelato scavenger hunt. For every port, we got to find a good gelato place. We had to find a place that had a unique flavor. And then we tried it. I ate so much gelato. Gelato's amazing. I love it. Yeah. There is a bar. There's an ice cream bar on board called Lick Me Till Ice Cream, which again I love the name.
Yeah,
it's a great pun. And they always have delicious ice cream. Matter of fact, we were there this morning and they have cookies and cream, which we're excited about. And they have and their sugar free is vanilla. The sugar free sometimes changes. And some of the sugar free is vanilla, which is a great add-on, so I can get more ice cream with less sugars, which is always good for me. Now, in your travels, have there been any horror stories or any weird things that have happened that stick out in your mind?
I mean, same as Madeline yesterday with the tornado.
Right. So, listeners, if this is your first episode, the previous episode I interviewed Madeline, who is Kira's best friend.
Yes.
And we on the ship experienced a tornado. our ship got hit by a tornado.
Chairs were flying.
Glass was broken. Luckily, nobody was hurt. And none of those words are hyperbole. A tornado
For real.
on the ocean hit the ship. We're good. We're fine, obviously, because we're laughing about it. We're talking about it. But it was quite a few intense minutes. And then, you know, as the hustle and the bustle and the whispers and the people posting on the social medias and the words, people are like, this happened. And there's footage of it. If I can get the footage, I think I can get it. I'll post the footage of it on the social media podcast. But and you'll see that. Yeah, tornado's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of hard. It's almost hard to beat. Yeah, a tornado hit the ship I was on. Oh, yeah, that sounds terrible. That sounds absolutely horrifying.
The only other things are like flight delays where you have to just stay overnight or something. But like everybody experiences that.
Right. That's but you know, but people like to know that other people experience those same things. You know, especially travelers and entertainers. Yeah, no matter what, it happens to everybody. We had a flight issue. From Denver to North Carolina. Yeah, we didn't time it well. We missed our flight, but luckily, and I'll give a shout out to American Airlines, who's not a sponsor, but you should be a sponsor. Really helped to say, oh yeah, we'll just put you on the next flight. We missed it by a few minutes. I said, no worries, we'll just put you on the next flight, which was great. And no extra charges. Beautiful.
Love that.
I haven't had the miss a flight stay overnight yet. But I know when that happens, usually they'll put you up in a hotel. They have relationships, whatever. And so I'm not in a hotel. Okay, fine. As long as I get to where I need to go, I'll be there.
You're good.
It just sucks when the flight gets delayed, but somehow your luggage makes it, and you don't. Like, you couldn't put me on the same plane as my luggage.
Like, and then you can't get your luggage. And you're like,
yeah. It's like, but I need. That's why I learned cool travel hacking. You know, we're all about the travel hacks here. Not travel hick. That's the people on the plane who are weird in southern accents. This is a travel hack where in my carry-on, I always keep at least one set of clothing, maybe two. If it's going to be a long flight, always have a small thing in the carry-on because you never know. And nobody really wants to fly out in stinky drawers. That's just not comfortable, not great. Awesome. Well, Kira's been talking about how can the people find you on the social medias?
My Instagram is Kira DiPietrantonio.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right, so what I'll do, make no mistakes, intrepid listener, I will be sure to put the links in the description for this interview. But you can find Kira. She's amazing. Definitely check out her talent. If you get a chance to get out to the Mediterranean and get on the transatlantic, see dual reality, and hopefully you get a chance to see Kira, who is an amazing and wonderful performer. Again, I can't wait. You've been fabulous. Yeah. I also taught Kira how to play mahjong as well.
Yes.
She learned yesterday, which is really cool because now best friends both know how to play mahjong. And I've been teaching Madeline how to teach. Madeline actually set up my instruction tiles yesterday before I got there, so I came back and it was already set up. I'm going, yes, Padawan, you were trained. And before the end of the cruise, I would say, the learner has become the master. That's what I'm looking forward to. So, but in the meantime, thank y'all for listening. We'll catch you next time. And stay tuned. You're going to hear some stuff after this because, you know, this is just an interview. All right. Bye, y'all. Thanks. Hello, fellow travelers. What's happening? This is Big Sexy, your digital nomad. Right now, I am currently on a Virgin Voyage transatlantic, the Valiant Lady, right now we're headed towards Portugal. We're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, not quite the middle. We're a little bit closer to Europe than we were yesterday. But we are traveling, and I have decided to set up interviews and talk to some of the interesting and fabulous people I have met on this cruise. This interview is I'm going to call her my kindred spirit. We met. I taught her how to play mahjong. She has excelled, taken her under my wing. I'm going to teach her how to score and do all the things. So when she goes back home, she's going to spread the mahjong love across the world. She is a circus performer. Her specialty is tightrope and something else. She'll tell us all about it. And she is magnificent and fabulous. So wherever you are, put your hands together and give it up for Madeline. So, Madeline, tell us about yourself, where you're from.
Yes, so I'm from Kansas originally, and then I don't know that I can say that anymore. I travel around enough that I'm like, that's my home base.
Excellent.
But I've probably spent more time in Philadelphia recently than I have in home.
Fabulous, that makes sense. Yeah, when we get asked the from question, we say we're from Vegas. But when people ask you where you're from, they really mean where do you live?
Right.
Right? And so that question is now Earth. I live Earth. I travel wherever my head is. That is where we're living now. Well, that's awesome. And as I mentioned in the intro, you are a circus performer.
I am.
How did you get into circus performing? Were you a kid and saw a piece of thread and like, I want to walk on that? Like,
kind of. So I got into it through the aerials. So silks, trapeze, hoop, all that. And it was because I had just recently stopped doing cross country, and so I was used to training physically with a group, and I'm like, well, I don't want to run alone, that's boring.
Makes sense.
And so I remembered seeing someone do these aerial tricks, and I'm like, wow, that seems like something that could keep me engaged and still be physically active. I want to try this. And from there, it was rabbit hole of more circus, and I never left.
Makes sense. And you went, if I understand, you went to a circus school.
Yes, I went to a circus college called Circadium School of Contemporary Circus, and that was in Philadelphia.
Ooh, yeah. That's a fancy name.
It's quite a name.
For circus school. Yeah, it's not just the three rings anymore. It's fancy organizations. Yeah. Awesome. And now you say you travel.
Yes.
And I don't know if Big Sexy Digital Nomad is a travel podcast. Mainly, we also talk about shenanigans and we're stupid. And my co-host, Judgmentalist, who's not on the cruise with me, so that's why you're not hearing him on this, whatever. You'll hear him early in the introduction and maybe in the outro. But he's in Maryland and what have you.
Oh, yeah.
But you travel. Where are some of the places you have been able to travel to?
My furthest travel for work was Turkey, and that was last year. So I did 8 months contract there with one of the resorts near Antalya.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why I also love the interview process. But I have been on the cruise. I think today is day 8 or 9 or whatever.
Ish
or whatever.
That.
But it's like 6 days at sea. We have chatted. We talked. We played mahjong. I didn't know you went to Turkey last year. That's amazing. What was, of all the travels you've done, what were some of the favorite places you have seen or been?
I mean, just random travels around the world. I have to say Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. I get that.
I would stay. It's just, yeah.
Awesome. And now, will this be your first time in Portugal or Spain?
It'll be my second time in Spain. The first time when I was a newborn. So,
really?
my first, remembering Spain.
Right. So you were traveling from damn near fresh out the womb. Seeing the world. That's amazing. That's awesome. And how did you end up on this ship?
My best friend Kira is working the cruise, so she got me on board, and I get to spend a little extra time. It's been a while since we got to see each other because she also travels a lot.
Excellent. And listener, you don't know this, but Kira's like right here.
She is.
Just say hi. Yeah, hi. Perfect. You may hear from her later. I'll probably interview her as well because her story is also fabulous and amazing. There's a lot of crossover, and they are besties. They're best friends. It's so adorable how cool they are with one another. Let me ask, in all your travels,
yes,
have there been any horror stories? Have there been anything that went horribly or terribly wrong that you were comfortable sharing?
Well, I mean, there was the tornado we experienced yesterday.
So, listeners, we, on the cruise, while we were at dinner at Gumbe, and then people were other places around the ship, a tornado on the ocean hit the ship. Literally. Like, there is none of that is hyperbole. None of those words are exaggerated. That is exactly what happened. A tornado hit the ship. Some broken glass, Deck chairs were thrown around. People were freaked out. Luckily, nobody was hurt, or I haven't heard anybody was hurt. And you know, we're listening on back channels, so not just what the official word is, because the official word has been like, due to inclement weather, please stay away from open spaces. Is basically what they said. Not, hey y'all, we got hit by a tornado, keep your ass inside, is what it should have said. But no. But instead, it has just been simple news. But we have back channels, people who work here, people who know what's going on. So we did get hit by a tornado. But that could have been the worst thing that has ever happened to you on a cruise or on a journey or a travel. Or was it? I mean, if it was, if everything else has been hunky dory, peachy king.
Basically, hunky dory, peachy king.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's beautiful. Now, as you have learned mahjong.
Yes.
What has brought you back? Like, what aspect of that did you find most enjoyable?
I like that there's never the same game. You go and you just kind of have to deal with what you get, which is kind of like life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fun, and you get to see how other people are managing their tiles, and I really enjoy that.
Good, same. I love the social aspect of the game. One, it's really cool because it kind of takes a while. It's a long game, and you're learning. But in between, while you're waiting for your turn, while people trying to decide if do I keep these dots, do I keep these bamboos, or do I go there? The mahjong gods are fucking with me. I need to go. What am I doing? You can have conversations and talk, and the people on the outside watching and looking in and enjoying themselves. It's a really great time. So I'm really happy that you have taken to the game and learned and came and played. You know, it was weird. I was thinking the other day, like, I don't remember when you sat down for the first time to learn and play. I kind of have a vague memory of it, but it's to the point where it feels like you already knew. You just came and sat down and whatever. I said, no, there was a time I didn't even know Madeline whatsoever. Like, I was still working on getting her name. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now it's like, oh yeah, 2 o'clock, mahjong, let's go. It was fabulous. Well, thank you very much for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being on the podcast. I hope you enjoy. If people want to follow you on the social medias and see some of your amazing circus work, where can they catch you at?
Just Instagram at Madeline Falley.
There you go. And that's MadeLineFalley.
Well done.
On the Instagram. Check it out. Or you can go to at bigsexynomad. I'll post this up whenever this gets released, and I'll be sure to put all that information in the liner notes as well. Again, thank you very much for sitting down with me, and I can't wait to play some more mahjong with you and see the world. And then,
Yes.
As common with my podcast, I always think of really cool nuggets damn near when I'm about done. As I'm wrapping things up, like, so what things are you planning to do, like, on the ports? Like, our next port is Lisbon, and then we got Cadiz and Palma de Mallorca and Barcelona. What do you have any big plans or sites you're going to see?
I'm hoping to make a trek to Seville, actually, because that's where I went to as a baby, as I told you before.
Right.
And so my family has stories just about being there and the orange blossoms in bloom, and I really hope that I hit the right time of year for that.
Oh, lovely. Oh, I can't wait. I hope, if we're not with you, I hope we get a report eventually afterwards. Yeah, then we're definitely going to hang out and whatever we do. All right, y'all, this has been Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Thanks for listening. Hang tight for the outro. And, you know, there'll be other stuff that we're going to talk about after all this. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace. All right. Well, that was Madeline and Kira.
Fun times. So
they were wonderful. They were absolutely wonderful to chat with. I'm so happy they joined us. You can definitely check them out. You can hit them up on their social medias. We'll put all their information in the description below.
All that'll be in the description for sure. And obviously they're on the Valiant. Is it the Valiant Lady or Scarlet Lady?
Well, Kira's on the Valiant Lady.
Okay.
Currently in running through Barcelona and Italy and France.
And I'm sure those things get updated on the social media. So if you're really looking to figure that out, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then Madeline's back in. As of this recording, Madeline's back in KC, Kansas City. Currently looking at different Ren festivals and whatnot.
You should connect me to her, because KC is kind of in the range of one of the spots that I'm looking to book in September with RJ and I.
Okay.
And we are not opposed to sliding him and I into something that might already exist, or adding more people to it, or having it be a thing. So, it's always easier when you've got somebody on the ground to be like, oh, this venue or that venue,
right?
They're easy to work with, or stay away from this one or whatever.
Yeah, I'll definitely connect you, get you guys connected, especially her and RJ have a lot to talk about, because RJ is also a circus performer as well.
Yeah.
As you heard, Madeline is a circus performer. So yeah, great.
One of these days I'm going to run away and join the circus.
It
might be a circus of my own making, but in time.
I figure one of the days I'm gonna. I keep saying I'm not gonna run away and join the circus. I'm just gonna join something that also houses a circus. I could be a ringleader.
I mean, conceptually, the idea of running away and joining the circus. It doesn't necessarily have to be a proper circus.
No, I would love to interestingly be part of a proper circus, but just as but I'm never going to get there, because I'm not going to work my way up. I'm not going to start shoveling elephant poop to work my way up. I'm just not going to do that.
Right. So, hit us up. Obviously, this was an interview episode, so we didn't get any of your mail or anything like that. The next one probably will be as well, but we're gonna be going back and forth over the next couple of weeks, sprinkling these in. So it won't all be interview episodes. So hit us up, bigsexynomad@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Travel questions, travel stories,
absolutely,
travel hacks.
Wrong answers only.
Wrong answers only.
Questions.
And again, if you're unfamiliar, because we've only done it a couple of times, send us 3 trivia questions. Specifically, send them to me. Put wrong answers only, all in caps, in the subject, so that only I see it. That way it can be a mystery to Big Sexy. These should be trivia questions. They can be in a theme. They could just be random ass questions. They could be whatever.
We're also looking for song parody ideas.
Song parody ideas, yes.
A subject that you'd like me to write a song about, and if you have a song in mind that you'd like me to pair it with, hit me up with that. I would love the challenge of doing that as well.
Awesome. Obviously, Big Sexy Nomad on all of the relevant socials.
Check out our merch store at Where Is Big Sexy?
That's WEAR. Oh yeah.
bigsexy.com. Check that out. What we need to do, we need to see if we can have we need to get a clean clip of somebody saying it, and then make a little tune of it, or maybe I'll just record something. Maybe I'll do that. I'll play some music in the background. I'll make a recording that we can just drop in as a store song to help people know where to go.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next one, friends.
All right, later, daters.
Safe travels.